guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we are doing a sit down chatty video. So I have actually given myself a bit of a different background. I thought I would sit on my bed, it's a bit comfier, and got the light from the window here, and this just seems like less chaotic than my background where I sit and do my makeup. Obviously any makeup videos I do will be at my dressing table because for obvious reasons, but I think sit down chatty videos, this is quite a good little spot. So let me know what you think about it and if this works. I just think there's less like chaos. So yeah, I obviously have a lot of videos planned and ideas I wanted, like ideas of videos, but especially chatty ones. And today I wanted to talk about moving and living on my own, like the pros and cons, my whole like history of moving and like why I was so desperate to move out and kind of that sort of thing. It's kind of like a personal experience, but also may be interesting to those that are thinking of moving out, you know, don't know whether to, like, I don't know, people with ideas about living on their own, people that are wondering about renting and stuff. So I just thought I would share my own experience with you. I have already filmed this, like started to film this, and then as always, like there's several issues. So I've had like my neighbours come home, I've had it start to pour down and rain that you could hear, my phone battery was dying and my storage got full. So I've just started all over again. I'm all ready to go and organised. For those of you that don't know, I live on my own. I rent a 1-bedroom flat in Bournemouth, and that is obviously what my experience is. But I am going to be starting from the beginning of my whole moving history, into how I got here today. So I am 25 years old, I'm 26 in a couple of months, which is just crazy. And I moved here on the 8th of February. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. So as a child, I lived in the same house for many years. When I was 8, my dad moved out. So it was just me and my mum for quite a while. And then she had obviously like her usual like adult love life and stuff. And then she had her partner live with us for a while. So then we moved to his own property, and we moved there when I was about 17, and we lived there for a few years until unfortunately things didn't work out for them, which is when things massively changed. So when I was living with them, I think we moved out when I was about 22, I think. So I was at that age where I was starting to grow up a bit. I say that, still very immature. And I wasn't I was just living my life, but it I should have been at the stage. I feel hard like saying some of this because my mum's going to be watching this and I don't want her to take it personally, and a lot of this is stuff I've already said to her, but it was very difficult for me. At 22 years old, I should be, you know, living at home. Not should be, but the normality is you still live at home with your parents, and you get to save some money so you can like have a deposit and move out. But unfortunately, as things didn't work out with my mum and her partner, it meant that me and my mum had to move out on our own. And unfortunately, that meant we had to rent somewhere because we didn't have any other options for both of us. So that kind of was a big like deal for me, and I think it very much impacted how I felt about the whole moving out like situation, as I'll explain as I go on. So yeah, we ended up living with my nan for a little while, which was horrible in the nicest way. Love my nan to like, don't get me wrong, love my nan, love my mum, but as a 22-year-old, I don't want to be sharing a bedroom with my mum in my nan's house. Like, we didn't even have like anywhere to put clothes or anything. Like, my nan is very much a hoarder, like the epitome of a hoarder. Like, it's no space. Like, she has a 3-bed house, and every room has stuff in. Like, the loft is crammed. She has sheds and garage like full. Oh yeah, it's just, it was quite hard for us, me and my mum, to then have all of our stuff. We had to put so much in storage. Like, bless my mum, like just ridiculous. We had to put everything in storage. We were sharing in a room, like living in a room together. I ended up just staying at my like boyfriend's family house the whole time, which lucky I had him to go to, but it also wasn't very nice for mum because I was just leaving her on her own. But I just couldn't be there, and I just didn't want to like stay in the same bed as her, like not in the same bed but same bedroom as her, and it was just a nightmare. Eventually we found somewhere, so we found a little flat, and it was a nice little flat, but it wasn't brilliant, but we made it our own. And then they decided to put it up for sale. So we only lived there like not even a year, I don't think. So that was great. And when I moved into that flat anyway, I was very much renting. Like, we were both renting, both had our names on a tenancy, both paying half and half for every single bill. So in a way it was good because I got to learn the process. I got my name on obviously all these bills and everything, so that was good for my like credit. It was good for me to have the references there and that sort of thing, and just to kind of understand it all. But at the same time it was horrible because all my money was going on renting somewhere that wasn't even mine. It was still my mum's. So as much as it, like, my mum was trying to say like, it's, you know, it's half and half, it's your flat as well as mine, I'm still living with my parent. And no matter who you are and how old you are, if you're living with your parent, you're going to respect what it's their place. Like, you're still the child, so you're still going to, you know, they're still going to lead it. And it's not like I could just have people over whenever I want, or, you know, get a takeaway at 2 in, because I wouldn't be able to do that. And I think that's something my mum struggled to kind of understand. As much as she'd be like, yeah, of course you can, really I couldn't, because I would never want to not respect her or piss her off or anything. So I still kind of felt like, I'm paying out all this money here when I could be renting my own place. But then I couldn't rent my own place because I couldn't screw my mum over. And yeah, so like I said, that flat got put on for sale. So then we moved, kind of a blessing in disguise really, because we ended up moving into a really nice house. So we moved into a 2-bed house, again still renting. It was quite like a new build, like not new, but it was pretty new. Absolutely lovely place, lovely little area. Like, I really liked it. And yeah, then we lived there for a year. She ended up getting back with that previous partner, so that all kind of worked out quite well. We ended up moving literally across the road to a 3-bed house, and then I lived there for a year. So basically I'd moved like 3 or 4 times in like a couple of years. Not ideal. Never, like, I'm so sick of changing my address now. I'm so glad to have this place, because this is it. This is like I'm settled. Yeah, so I lived there for a year, and then during that time I'd met my now ex-boyfriend Damien, and obviously in my head, like, I was still renting, like I was still paying them the rent. We were obviously just splitting it 3 ways this time. Again, all the bills, everything was splitting. I wasn't just living with my parents, just paying a little bit of rent like everyone else was at like 24 years old. So I was not happy. So I quite quickly, as soon as like my boyfriend ended up moving into a house share, and I ended up moving into with him once my contract was up for like our current house. And I spoke to my parents about it and was like, look, I'm going to move in with him because it's cheaper. The main reason is it's so much cheaper. I was with him all the time anyway, so it just made sense. All I was really doing was just moving my stuff in and just switching my bills. I was saving myself like £300 a month, and that meant that me and him could then save up for a deposit of our own, because obviously it meant he paid less. It was just worked out a lot better. But unfortunately, even though me and Damien were looking to move out ourselves towards the end of last year, we obviously, all through COVID and stuff, it was a bloody nightmare trying to like view properties and things. Unfortunately, we didn't work out. We just really wanted different things, and we just weren't in the same headspace, I guess, and things weren't going the way that I wanted them to. But that's obviously a whole different story. But basically, we were looking to move out into a place, and the next minute we broke up. And I ended up, so that was like December last year, and I ended up moving back into my parents. They were lovely. Like, I just got to pay, I ended up just paying like a little bit of rent, just so I could just then save the money for a deposit and first month's rent for somewhere. And that is when I found this place. Now, this place literally was just perfect for me. I knew I wanted it as soon as I saw it on the website. I was working, like, and I was looking at flats like every single day, like I had all the alerts on, but because of COVID it was really, really hard to get places, and I already knew this from looking at places with my ex. It's just everywhere was a lot more popular and the process was a lot different. So previously, like when me and mum rented, you would just be like, right, I want this flat, let me put a deposit down, and you did like all the checks and that would be it. Where with COVID, that was so unlikely to be the process for most of the companies. They would actually just let everyone view it, get all the applications in, and then it would be up to the actual like landlord or landlady to decide who was getting the place. And it was a nightmare. So as soon as this place came on, I phoned them straight away, and she was like, oh, it's only just gone on. I was like, yeah, I know, do I have to, like, how does this work? He's like, no, we are doing viewings. And I was like, okay. So I waited, got a viewing, came to view it with my mum, and I loved it. Was like, this is just perfect just for me. The price range, like for what it is, was like ideal. The area, quite ironically, a road away from my ex, not intentional at all, it was just coincidence, and at least I knew the area then. And yeah, so I was like, I put the application in and just waited. I had to wait until the landlady reviewed all the applications from the viewings, and I hope, like, had my fingers crossed. I was manifesting like there was no tomorrow. I had to explain to my mum what manifestation was, because I said to her, I was like, no, because mum's like, don't get your hopes up. I'm like, no, I am getting this flat. This is my flat. I'm having it. And she's like, okay. I'm like, you've got to say, like, we were both there, like, right, you'll get it. You're going to have this. This is for you. And then I got the email through to say that she's accepted me. And I was like, yes. I remember just sitting there, like, yeah. I tried jumping up, actually. I was at home with my mum, just jumping up and down, like, crying. So happy. Just, oh, the best news ever. And that was that. And then the process started, put my deposit down, and I got moved in on the 8th of February. Which just is surreal. So I've been here for nearly 4 months now, which is kind of like actually insane. Yeah, I was so happy, so happy. So as you can see, like, obviously I have moved around a bit. I've had the different experiences. Obviously, like, when I moved into the house share with my boyfriend at the time, that was my first time moving out away from my parents, like, well, my mum. And it was a completely, like, different experience, and it was great, but it still wasn't what I wanted, and I knew that in my heart, which is, I think, why I was trying to push for me and him to move out together, because all I'd wanted for since I can remember was to get, like, to move out. I remember even with one of my exes, I tried for us to move out, like, we were looking, like, we were trying to save money for a deposit, except he wasn't really interested, and I was just trying to push for it, because in my head, that's all I wanted to do, was to have my own space. And that's nothing against my mum at all, but I am very much an independent person. I like being on my, like, I like being able to do what I want. And my mum is, like, it's not just my mum, parents in general, as much as they love you, and as much as some of them, like, say my mum, is very relaxed, very chill, like my best friend, she still has her own ways. And as much as she tries to be, oh yeah, no, do what you want, you can't do what you want. And that is the reality of living with your parents. You can't do what you want when you want. As much as they will say you can, there's always going to be some sort of consequences or some sort of, like, comment being said. It just is what it is. So all I wanted was just to be able to do what I want, go out when I want, see who I want, have no consequences for any, like, stupid, like, not actual consequences because I'm not doing anything bad, but just no comments being made, or no, you know, questions, like, not being questioned for where I'm going or what I'm doing, because that's all I would get. Not in a horrible way, it's just, it is what it is. It's like, she wants to know where I'm going and stuff. And I don't know, I just found it really hard. I just didn't want to, I'm quite like a just shut off person, really. So I don't like talking about things, and if I don't want to talk about it, then leave me alone. And living on my own has meant I can do whatever I want whenever I want, and it doesn't matter. So yeah, so for the longest time I just knew I wanted to be on my own, and part of that is for my mental health, and that's why I kind of want to do this video as well, because I really did believe that living on my own would help me improve my mental health, and I think in a way it has. I think it's just there's other stuff that's happened in my life that has affected my mental health negatively anyway, but living on my own has massively helped in the sense of I have this big issue with feeling trapped. It's my big, like, trigger point. Anything that makes me feel like I have no choice in something, or I can't get out of something, I've got no freedom, I've got no choice, like, that is my big thing that like really freaks me out, like, gets my anxiety spiraling, just gets me so angry. And living on my own, I have this so much freedom. I can do whatever I want to a certain limit, whenever I want to a certain limit, and that is great. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. If I want to cook dinner at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can. If I want to get a takeaway, I can. If I want to have someone over, I can. If I want to go out and not be questioned, I can. If I want to leave some dirty washing on the floor, I can. If I don't want to wash up for a couple of days, I can. If I want to cook something that stinks, I can. Like, I can literally just do whatever I want, and it is so nice and so just, like, chill. And anyone that lives on their own will understand. Even when I lived with, like, my ex, obviously it was still a house share, And as much as I loved him at the time and everything, like even then having to like have someone else stuff to clean up after, like having to clean up after someone else, having to do someone else's washing, having to argue about dinner like every night, where now it's like it's great. And that's the other thing, it's like I am cooking, I'm a massively fussy eater. Like I cannot like explain to you how fussy I am. I'm on another level, like I piss everyone off with it. But I am trying so many new foods because I am cooking for myself, because I have a kitchen that I like to cook in. I can do whatever I want in that kitchen. I can leave whatever mess. I can tidy up as I'm going, and I don't have to worry about someone else coming along and ruining it. It's great. So I'm actually, yeah, I'm learning to cook. I've been cooking so many things and I'm so proud of myself when I do cook. I've also been baking, which I'm sure you'd have seen on my channel. I bake all the time. I literally bake like at least once a week and it's just great. Like I'm really just growing up. Obviously, like I love cleaning and stuff anyway. I'm a very tidy and organised person, so it's nice to be able to be in control of my own tidiness. And if I don't choose to tidy something, I'm not going to have someone moaning at me for it. And to know it's my own mess is different than having a boyfriend that just leaves their shit everywhere. Love being like single, like that's just the best thing. But yes, like there's so many benefits to it, and obviously there's negatives as well. Like I do sometimes, I think when I am my depression is quite bad. Like it's been alright at the moment, but I know there has been stages whilst I've been here that I felt quite like lonely, and it's not like lonely as like I want someone there, but it's more like normally someone would be there to pick up on how I am or to distract me. And it's a bit weird, surreal sometimes, thinking, oh well, no one even knows. That's all I think. It's like no one even knows right now that I'm sad. And like it's alright, like people can message you and stuff and check in, which they do. I have some great friends and family that do that, but you know, you can always lie. That's the reality of it. So I think sometimes it is a bit like lonely in that sense, like no one's even going to know. I could be doing anything right now and no one would even know. But the benefits of it, like that's such a little thing, and that's just only because I've got mental health, like I've got mental illness. Like if I didn't have that, that's probably not a normal thing you'd think. But also like the idea, like I can have friends over, like obviously after like now COVID's all settling down a bit, I'm gonna be able to have people over. I'm hopefully, once I have like everything sorted and my place looking a bit nicer, I want to have some like friends over for drinks. Not that I really drink, but I'm starting to like, I think I've been trying cocktails and everything. Like I'm a new person, it's great. And also like being able to just sit on my lounge and watch TV till like stupid o'clock in the morning is so nice, because I've always just been stuck to my bedroom. Like, and I can just sit in the lounge. I always said like I can't wait to be able to walk around naked, and I still can't do that. Like I was explaining it to my friend. Like this is such a random thing to say in a video. But when I was moving out, I was like, I can just walk around naked. And I can. I don't, because I still find it really weird. Like I find just walking into my kitchen naked a bit much. Because it's a habit. Like I've only lived here for a few months. It's a habit to have someone else here. But it's just really nice. I can just leave my doors open. Like I can wee with my bathroom door open and it doesn't matter. I'm just very conscious of neighbours. But yeah, talking of neighbours, negatives is when I said, like I said when me and mum lived together, never live in a flat again. I realised why, because oh my god, the noise. I've been brought up a very conscious person of others and those around me. Like praise my mum for how she's brought me up in that sense. Very thoughtful. Like I don't slam doors. I don't play music at night. I'm so quiet and so respectful for those around me. And even if I'm playing music, I'm thinking like, oh, I hope this isn't too loud for someone. I hope this isn't annoying. Oh no, other people don't think like that, do they? Realise that the hard way. And it kind of realised, like downstairs, obviously I'm lucky I live on the top floor, so I have no one above me, thank God. But downstairs, their like lounge kitchen seems to be below my bedroom. So I heard them have music on till like 3 in the morning, and like they do that quite regularly. The washing machine on at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is all well and good until it's on spin cycle and all I can hear is like banging. You can hear like them talking and shouting, like I've heard shouting before. Next door, like across from me, so noisy. it's like a mum with two sons, and I'm all for kids like gonna be noisy, but it's the fact she like lets them stand out in the hallway at like 7 in the morning shouting. And I'm like, I'm up for work, like I'm up to getting ready for work, but the days I'm not, that really winds me up. And even if I wasn't, how does she know? Like, she doesn't know if I'm still asleep. She doesn't know, like, you know, I could have done and be working nights or anything. You should have some sort of courtesy. Like, fair enough, you're going to be leaving, but she comes out, lets the kids out. One of them's always crying because he's like, I think it's like 5 or 6 years old, but he's always screeching, not even crying, like just this screechy, annoying noise. And then she like goes back in, and then she comes back out, and like my door must bang like so many times, and I'm like, you're not even just coming out and going, you're coming out, hovering and loitering in the hall, like the corridor, making as much noise as you can. That's like, why? She's got no, she is in her own little world, because even when she's on her own she still does it. She's like in out, like bangs the door, makes sure it's locked about 5 times, and I'm like, oh come on, like how long have you lived here? You know how to lock a door, you don't need to make that much noise. And also the stairway for like the hall is right on this wall, so when people are walking up it loudly I can hear, and don't mind, except from when it's late at night or early in the morning. And it's, to me, it's just courtesy. If it's early in the morning or late at night, you shut up. When I've come back at like stupid o'clock in the morning, I am so quiet, I don't even like make a peep. Like I don't jangle my keys, like I make sure the door's shut quietly, everything. But now I've got to a point I'm like, well, you don't care, so why should I? And if that's how they want to play it, then that's fine. I still aren't going to be ridiculous and play music at like 3 in the morning. But I did play music till 10 o'clock at night last night, quite loud. But it's just ridiculous. That's the one thing I hate about living in a flat. And also, it's not even just the people indoors, it's also outside. Now, I didn't realise, even though I lived in a road before, because I lived in the actual road, like halfway down, I knew it was popular, but when I'm right on the corner of this road, it's like a main road, and there's a corner shop that's like the corner shop for the area, and oh my god, is it popular. There's so many cars there all the time, there's people slamming doors, there's people with like loud music, there's people shouting, kids. We're by a school, so there's obviously kids obviously all the time. The shop gets deliveries 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, that's always fun. You like, it's just so annoying, it's just so loud. And because my bedroom is at the front of the house, which I think is the most stupid thing, I think if this bedroom was at the back of the property, it wouldn't be so bad. But whereas at the front, I can hear everything, and it drives me mad. Also, like the fact it's the loft, the wind and rain like is so loud, like you'd have heard the rain. It's just really loud because the rain bangs on the windows because they're obviously slanted, and then the wind just is another level. Like I can hear it from every single room in the house, like even if there's no windows, like in the bathroom there's no windows and you can still hear the wind just going at it. The amount of times I wake up in the night from wind and don't sleep, I'm kind of getting used to it. But it is frustrating. And also parking is a nightmare here, because again it's like a main road, and the shop, everyone wants parking, but it's all double yellows, and then the rest of the road is all driveways, so there's loads of us, like I know all the local like cars, and we all just like fight for the spaces. And I'm trying to master my parallel parking again, because I have to, because sometimes that's all I can have, the spaces I have is parallel parking. Half the times I'm having to park halfway down the road, and it always seems to be when I've done my food shop and I have to carry heavy bags. It's just, that's probably like the only negative things, which I think is just quite reasonable, and probably quite relatable for a lot of people. It's just those things, but the actual flat itself is lovely. I just wish it didn't have slope ceilings, if I'm honest. Didn't realise how much that would impact me, but the amount of times I've banged my head, and the fact I can't stand up and shower is very frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. But that's that. So there's my little pros and cons about my flat. Do love it though. Like, it came with everything as well. Like, I'm very lucky. I haven't explained this. So with my flat when I got it, even though it was done for an agency and the viewings were done for the agency, the contract was done for an agency, when they handed the key over, I was very much told, that's it, you're nothing to do with us anymore. So all they do is handle the actual property, like legal side of things, but I'm actually under my landlady, so I'm private tenant, which is like the best thing ever. I've never had that before, didn't know that was part of the deal, so I was very happy. But it means I don't have to deal with an agency if something's wrong. I can just text my landlady, who is lovely, and like she texts me all the like a few times if she needs something, if she wants to know something, like if there's posts and stuff. And she always like checks in if anything's like all right, and I'm like, yes, it's all good. It means I don't have property checks, I don't have like anything like that. I'm just living here and I don't have any like hassle, where previously through agencies we've had like especially in the flat before, we had checks and you weren't allowed to do this and you weren't allowed to do that, and all these like flipping annoying things, where here I can do what I want pretty much to a certain limit, I'm sure. But I'm pretty sure like she's the type of person that I'd be able to message like, can I paint a wall, and she'd probably let me. I won't, as much as I wish these were white instead of what is it, like magnolia, don't know why. It's fine, it's still quite neutral, so I can deal with it. But yeah, sorry, a bit of a ramble, but yeah, I'm very lucky. And also they had all the like white goods, as it's called, integrated. So I have a washing machine, well, washer dryer, and a fridge freezer, which is only an under counter one, because obviously where the slope ceilings are, I don't have any cupboards or any space like above, which is really frustrating, but it is what it is. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I love living on my own. It's just, I love it, and I love being able to just move stuff around. Like obviously, as I said before, my flat is nowhere near finished. There's so much I want to do, but obviously it's just money, and I can't wait to the day that I can just sit there and be like, I'm really happy with this place, like I'm really happy. I've just even moved around my bedroom a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. So I've got to give myself a bit more space, move my laundry basket away because it was frustrating me. And I was just thinking about how I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to get another bedside table. That's a completely separate thing. Sorry, I'm rambling. Oh, here we go. But yeah, I think living on my own has also been very important for me to become more independent and grow up in a way. Anyone that knows me will kind of understand what I mean, because I've always been quite dependent, not on my parents, but on like partners and stuff, because I've kind of been in and out of relationships since I was like 13 years old. Like I said, there's a whole other video like relationships and me, but whenever I have, I've been very much attached to the boy and their families. I always stay at their, like I said, when we lived at my nan's, I just stayed at my boyfriend's the whole time, and I've always done that. And I think it's quite important for me now. I've got my own space. I don't want to leave this space. So even if I'm seeing someone or dating or whatever, I don't just want to be with them all the time. I want to be in my own house. Like I want to be in my own bed. Like I want to be able to just do what I want. It's not that feeling where I just don't want to be home. Like I want to be home all the time, and I think that's really good. I think it's teaching me a lot. I think if you're thinking, obviously being like, I'm 25 and I'm turning 26 soon, I think it is quite obviously a common age for people to move out. I just wish I was in a position like most people are, where they get to save with their, you know, after living with their parents and stuff, as I think it would have given me the opportunity to save a lot more for furniture and things. And like it is obviously quite tight bills wise at the moment, but I think as time goes on, obviously bills get cheaper, and I learn more about money and things. I'm not greatest with money. Anyone that's thinking about it, don't rush into it, because as much as I love it, it was very rushed, but I know this is what I needed, and I'm sure other people that think the same thing. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up here. I think I've gone over pretty much everything that was in my head. Like I said, just a bit more of like a personal experience and the process from the very beginning to how I got here and living on my own and what it's like, all of that stuff. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because so many of you that watch these videos aren't subscribed, and it really helps me out if you subscribe to me. So yes, thank you for watching. See you next week.